Before I start, I would like to clarify one thing. I'm not doing this talk for sympathy, or I'm not doing this talk for attention. The purpose of this talk is to aware and raise a voice for people with different abilities. With that, I would like you to close your eyes. I would like you to actually close your eyes. Don't fool me. Think, if your eyes are shut, what can you see? You can see darkness right now, I presume. Think that you spend your whole life this way. Think that you don't know what you're wearing. You can walk out with a black shirt and a yellowish pant. How would that look? Think in that regard, ladies and gentlemen. But there are two reactions that come out of people's mind after. You can open your eyes now. There are two reactions that come out of people's mind when they see such people who spend their lives like your eyes were shut. Number one, they think, oh, these people are there for admiration. These people are legends. They're living their lives with blindness. Wow, that's amazing. And the second group, the reaction of the second group is like, oh, these people are blind. They can't do anything in the world. Remember this. I'm not your inspiration or a source for your admiration, and I'm not there to get your sympathy or your empathy. I'm just like you. And that what would be my talk. And I will tell you how throughout the course of my life, both of these reactions have affected me in an adverse manner. I will tell you how inclusion is not based upon these two ideals. With this, I would like to directly jump into my story. There was a 6-year-old boy sitting right next to his father, trying to play with him, trying to talk to him, because he was a usual boy who loved his father, who looked up to his father. His father didn't pay attention to him. The boy was like, what's wrong with my father? He used to question his mother. Why can he not give me attention? The response of his mother was simple. You know what? Father is really, really busy. He's a member of the Provincial Assembly of Punjab, a province in Pakistan. He has a lot of responsibilities. And that kid had an impressionable mind. He used to say, okay, fine, I don't have a problem. If father is busy, then all fathers must be busy. He was 7. This treatment continued for 1 year. He completely lost his father. Then again, he raised this question to his mother. He was like, what happened? Why are we moving out? What's wrong with father? Mother said, your father does not want to live with us anymore. He is very busy and cannot give us time. That's why it's fine. Everything's going to be normal once again, but at this particular juncture, we've got to move out. The kid's like, okay, everything's going to be fine over time. That's fine. If you have to move away for a temporary amount, I can, because my mother is along with me. 12 years before, that kid used to wait every day that separation would be over and he would go back home to his father. But that day never came. And now when I question my mom, why did that divorce happen? This would crush some people's heart. But this gives me immense pride that I'm a child of such a mother. The response is that father did not want to live with a child who is disabled. I don't like this term. Who's differently abled, who has different abilities, and his sister who has different abilities, because they cannot replace him in the provincial assembly, or because they would add to his taboos within the rural areas of the culture of Pakistan. That is the reason why that divorce happened. Not because there was some glitch between the family, or not because that father did not have that time. Why does this make me proud, ladies and gentlemen? This makes me proud that I'm a son of such a mother which had the option of living with her husband, which had the option of abandoning her children and continuing her life. But she chose the latter. She wanted to raise her children up, and she did that very well in my perspective. I today stand here in front of you at NYU Abu Dhabi as a freshman. My sister currently studies in Georgetown, and this is the first step, the first thing that shows as my mother's achievements, and I'm very proud of that fact. That is why it brings a great smile to my face. What is the lesson that you can learn from this story at the start? You can learn how at the end of the day, persuasion, and if you commit to a certain cause, you can be very, very successful. And that is what my mother's resume shows to you. Working, raising 2 children, and raising them very, very well. This brings me on to the second part of this story, ladies and gentlemen. Let me talk to you about a life of a differently able child and what are the harms, what are the things that society does to shackle you. You are shackled by society having this mindset that I mentioned in the start of my speech. You're not shackled by you not seeing. You're not shackled by you not hearing people. You're shackled by the mindset of society that you cannot do this. The most infuriating thing that a visually impaired or a differently able person can hear is, well, you cannot do this. Because they're rational human beings like you, ladies and gentlemen, who will tell you when they cannot do a certain action. They will tell you that we're not able to do this because they would understand their own limitations. But when society imposes those particular limitations onto those particular people, then the root cause behind discrimination, behind societal oppression comes into existence. We have the clear-cut example of exceptions, such as Helen Keller, such as Stevie Wonder, such as Stephen Hawking, who broke the norm. But why are they celebrated within society? They're not celebrated. Stephen Hawking is not celebrated because he was a visually impaired person. Stephen Hawking is not celebrated because he had a mental disability. Stephen Hawking is celebrated because at the end of the day, he did what he did for science, and nobody looks at his disability when looking or examining his success. Helen Keller was successful because she broke the norm, and now people don't look at her that she was a visually impaired person, or she was deaf, or she was dumb. They look at her as an exception who broke the norms. Stevie Wonder is very well known for his music, not for his disability. And there's where I believe that if you break these norms for these particular people, then you would be able to achieve success to its highest level. These people will become these people would become productive members of your society, like all of you sitting in front of me. How did this happen to me? Let me just tell you another story of my life. I'm really, really thankful to my family, my maternal family, my grandfather, who used to take me to the cricket ground and used to tell me, go ahead, ball, with normal children. I used to fall down, run to him, and say, I've hurt. He never told me that you were blind, you cannot see, that's why you hit the floor, or this is the main issue with you. He used to say, every child that plays falls. Every brave child that partakes in a certain activity needs to fall down. And that is an attitude that prompted me to getting into all of these things, because I never considered myself as a visually impaired person, or I never considered that I had a certain problem with me. I always thought that I was like anyone else. Second story, we used to go to the market. My grandfather used to hand us cash, used to tell us, go, shop, buy whatever you want to. And because we were kids, we loved treats, sweets. That was a very big thing for us, and we used to think, oh, this is a huge deal, we're getting some money to buy stuff. But what he did there was instill confidence into us for coping with how society treats us and coping with mainstream, because we knew that if everybody could walk around in the market, we used to bump into pillars, we used to bump into doors, but he never used to tell us that stop here, or he never used to even say or lend a hand with like, oh my God, he's hurt. He understood that if they suffer these bumps today but feel normal, that will be the main basis upon which they will get success within their lives. And that is what I want you to take back from this particular talk. When I move back to the last part of my speech, I will let you know what you can do as individuals to change this particular mindset within society. What you can do as individuals to affect your surrounding. What you can do as individuals to become agents for change. What you can do as individuals to make a society which is based more on parity and harmony. You can because you're not a part of the legislature, and everybody says, what is one person capable of? I believe that one person is capable of changing the whole world. You have the examples of Mohammad. You have the examples of Nelson Mandela. You had movements getting successful, such as the suffragette, because they advocated equality. They never said, Women require, or even if you talk about the feminist movement, they never said that women require more rights or they should break in through. They always vouched and advocated for equality. And those individuals were reformers and revolutionaries, because they never thought that because they're individuals, they would be shackled or blocked by society. And I believe if all of you act as citizens with responsibility, you will be able to bring in this particular change. So what are 2 or 3 suggestions that I would like to give you? Number 1, if you see a visually impaired child or a deaf child or a dumb child, don't just go right next to them and say, you need a hand for help, or, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Or, oh my God, you're the best person on this planet. You're doing wonders, you know? Just treat them like normal individuals. And they will tell you when they need help. If I'm bumping around near marketplace, obviously if there's a certain person right next to me, I'm going to say, excuse me, can you please help me? And then like good human beings, you can lend them a hand and hold theirs and make them feel that because you're not helping them because they're disabled. You make them feel that you're helping them because you're good human beings. Second thing, in my perspective, if you want to bring in this particular change, you compel these misconceptions that are in the minds of these particular people that create these particular misconceptions, that create these particular stigmas. How can you eradicate that particular misconception? You can eradicate this particular misconception by virtue of you talking about equality and telling people of how everyone's normal and can lead normal lives. Thirdly, you can look at rehabilitation campaigns going on within society. You can look at all of these things, and a lot of fund that is being given to these. I'm very proud and happy that the world is lending money and such things to society, but you can, on your individual sphere, talk to institutions that you have graduated from, like high schools, because these particular people are not accepted by those high schools. So on a micro level, you can change that particular thing on that level. You can also, at the other, if you don't want to do any actions, just in your heart think that whatever they're doing because they're just like you without any other issue or glitch within them. At last, I would like to end by saying this. There are lots of things that are being created within society, rehabilitation centers, campaigns, and persuasions, and there's a Moses Center that NYU New York also has, but the main issue is, in the developed world and in the developing world, is the mindset of individuals. And when we change this mindset, then we will be able to rekindle the fire, and then we will be able to bring in more equality and parity within society. Don't feel sorry that I can't see. Feel sorry what your ignorance is doing to me and millions like me. I thank you.